What's happening, y'all? So, let's see, what's today? Tuesday. Day after Martin Luther King Day. It's two things that kind of, one was yesterday. I don't understand how I think Alabama, Louisiana, and Arkansas, or maybe Mississippi, one of those, so excuse me if I'm mistaken on that. Again, even before I start there. So, GI Operation on Twitter, that's me, CEO of blackfolkhotspots.com. If you got a black business, create your profile for your business so that we can share with our network. Yes, you can do more than one or two things. You can have opinions about different things. It's so funny. I was talking to a person yesterday. I was like, "Hey, so how do you feel about the upcoming Trump presidency?" Guy says, "Oh man, I don't talk politics." And what's so funny about that is, I was like, "That's a great question," because you know what? There's a lot of people who don't talk politics, and or we were told not to talk politics or whatever. So the way I look at things is, and the things that they tell you not to talk about are things that you're supposed to be talking about. Like in this instance, these are two things I'm going to be talking about. But then I asked him, he said, "Well, everybody has strong opinions about that." And I said, "You're absolutely right. But do you talk sports?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "And people don't have opinions on sports. Who's your favorite team?" "Bears." So, let some Bears and Packer fans get together, or Bears and Lions fans get together. The biggest rivals, or Bears and Vikings fans, or, Packers and whatever, or Patriots, or the Cowboys. So people are going to have strong opinions on everything. And you're right to have an opinion. It's a difference when you take that opinion and it becomes like derogatory, where you're insulted. Like a lot of you people, not mainly, my black audience, but my white audience. If I say anything about Donald Trump, they're ready to jump shoulders. Like this guy is like, King Midas or something, right? Well, he could be, because King Midas was a freaking, he wasn't that's a fable that wasn't exactly what people think. Imagine if everything you touch turned to gold. So it was about the love of money, and everything you touch turns to gold. Now, if you touch your grandchild, you touch your wife, you touch your daughter, you touch your car, you touch everything that you touch turns to gold. So what happens pretty soon, everything around you is going to be gold, which means it's not going to be a living being anymore. So when I say that money doesn't always equal success, just because you have allegedly billions of dollars doesn't mean that you're a success. You can be a business success and a personal failure. There's a lot of people out there, and there's a lot of people who are personal successes, and maybe they're not do so good in business, or maybe they're not so good. You can have you could be great, but who defines success? Are we basing success off of dollars? Because if we are, we're making some huge mistakes. There's people who've taken, vows of poverty to help other people. Red Fox was a success. He died broke. Would you call him a failure? But he helped so many people. Ask any comedian. Ask Steve Harvey. Rickey, Smiley. Which brings me to my next point. So I'm listening to, and I usually listen on Tuesday mornings to, Jeff Johnson. I make sure, I turn for his segment for his three things. I really like Jeff. Most of the stuff I agree with. But today, Jeff, I'm going to tell you, I don't agree with what you said about Steve Harvey and Ray Lewis. And I know Rickey Smiley. I know that's, I like Rickey Smiley. I like him a lot. I prefer Rickey Smiley over Steve Harvey. I do. But I also prefer D.L. Hughley over everybody. when he was on radio. I don't know if he still is, but he's not in the Chicagoland market. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because I think he's a real dude. He talks about real issues. And Rickey does too. And so does Jeff. Don't get me wrong. And Steve does too. Don't get me wrong. I don't dislike Steve. But I listen to what he talks about. And I don't know if it's from being from a different era or thinking that you got to tap dance when you don't. You know. And I just think that, and I know that Steve's done a lot of good things for businesses, for black businesses, for the youth, you know, with his mentoring camps and the hoodie awards and all those type of things. I understand that part. But what I think the people were upset with him going to meet with Trump was, number one, tell us what you really talked about. Be straight up. Did you guys see his eyes when the reporters asked questions after Donald Trump said something? And then he's like, whoa, you know, what did you talk about? Because that makes people at ease. The day is over where people are trusting of quote unquote people that are leaders. And how did you become leaders or successful? Because you're a great comedian, king of comedy, and you got a talk show and a radio show and Family Feud and all these other entities and different things that, you know, we don't even know that you're doing, but we know that you're doing them. You know that you're doing them, right? People want to know. Come out and have that press conference and be straight up with the people, but don't say Obama told you that, because you lose the credibility. Because Obama, if Obama called you, then why did he call you? I think people know when they know your platform. I think that if I said that I was going, even me with my network, if I said I was going to meet with Trump, people would know that I'm going to stand up. I'm going to stand up for other people. I'm not going to tap dance. I never have. You know, I don't have the money successes that you know, you could say that Steve Harvey has and some other people. But I'll give you a brief example. When I worked in the casino dealing dice, you know, back in late 90s, early 2000s. And we had a committee, a board of review. And that was basically like a labor board for a union type deal where if you got fired, you know, you were represented by one of your peers. And it was an elected position. I was elected for that. Because they knew, and I asked, I didn't run for it. I didn't even know. They were like, hey, we took we did take polls, you know, took votes of who, and people just put it on a piece of paper, names, and put it into a box, and then they withdrew the names and said, hey, you won. You have way more votes than everybody else. Because they knew I would fight for other people, even when it was a possibility that for me fighting for other people, I could get fired. But that's how I was raised. That's how I think. You know, when I was in college, you know, at Purdue, I was, you know, voted, the president of the Black Student Union. Why? Because they knew I would fight. And I fight for us. And I'm not saying that Steve won't, but it's like, I think that people have to trust that that's something that he's doing. And I don't think that people have the trust there, because just in some of the things he's said, you know, where he worries about that sponsorship money. And I get it. You got to have it to keep your shows going. You don't want to misstep. But a lot of times misstepping in our community and different things, it's time for us to quit being political correct and just say it. You just gotta be, people gotta feel that you're genuine in what you're doing. Ray Lewis, you know, people talk about Ray Lewis meeting with the president. Jim Brown. And you got to figure out, you got to really look and say, hey, what is the black community saying about these people? You know, where the civil rights activists, where the activists is out there on the streets that's doing these things day in, day out, and people trust that they're out there because they're out there, they're pounding the pavement. Now, I think that, you know, a D. Ray McKesson or somebody like that, you put them out there, people don't have no hesitations on what he's talking about. Right? Hell, even Jeff Johnson. If you were to go meet, I don't think people would have any doubt of what you talked about. or Dr. Jason Johnson. I don't think that, I don't think that anybody would have any doubt on what he talked about. A Karen Hunter. I don't think anybody would have any doubt of what they talked about. Hell, Louis Farrakhan, I don't think that anybody would have any doubt of what he talked about. But Steve Harvey, people have doubts. And that's why he got roasted. That's why people are up in arms. That's why it's this big thing. Gotta understand that, y'all. You could be, frat brothers or homeboys, but you gotta have to trust that this man is gonna do the right thing. There's people in my life that I would think that would go to bat for me, and then I hear, 6 months later that they talking behind my back about certain things that, number one, they don't know nothing about because I never even talked to them about it. And these are people that are close. They're in the inner circle. So they say we gotta keep them close. And I never voiced it. Because now I know that this person may not be, that person. Maybe this person is actually the enemy. We all got family members that trash you when you ain't around, whether right or whether wrong, and don't even have a clue of the things you've accomplished. I'm not a boaster. I'm not a bragger. I just do. Make this video, throw it up on YouTube, throw it on Facebook. But anyway, again, I'm going to wrap this up. But if you're a black business owner, you'll see what we do for you. Create a profile so we can share you with our network of about 300,000 people and get it out to the people about what it is you do, who you are, because these are the things that we need to start supporting black businesses. Because you know what? When we start supporting each other, they have no other choice but to come to us and give us a seat at the table. No other choice. We start shredding some of them dollars away like a little onion, peeling them back. Just a little bit at a time. And we start pushing it this way. Eventually, that black business owner that you're supporting in your city that we're putting out there, eventually they'll be able to hire their first employee, their second employee, right? Or spend more advertising dollars to get that. And then it keeps growing. Next thing you know, maybe not this generation, but the next generation. Maybe they pass it down to their kids or their grandkids or a cousin or something like that. And maybe, 20 years from now, that company is a multi-million-billion-dollar business. Or maybe, like I was listening to Karen Hunter's show on Sirius XM, Sirius Radio 26 on Sirius from 2 to 5 Central Time. And she was talking about that. Again, that's what we need to do. But anyway, y'all, this is what we do. I can go out and make a couple $100,000 a year. But I prefer to work with this task that I believe that God gave me. I mean, I don't think that I woke up at 3:30 in the morning on November 19th of 2008 with the name blackfolkhotspots.com. And why don't you do it? And the voice was saying, why don't you do what you've been doing for yourself, but do it for black business owners? And that's what I do, amongst other things. It's all about creating multiple streams of income. But anyway, y'all, check the links in the description. Post some great books that I like. And for you people that are that don't have melanin, that are not melanated, this ain't for you. Everything ain't for you. I know that's a problem for you. I know it messes with your psyche, but this ain't for you. Peace out, y'all. blackfolkhotspots.com. Go to bfhsnetwork.com/support BFHS. Buy one of our support black business t-shirts. Peace.